Okay, let's begin with number 7 on this video. Sorry, I had intended to do the entire page on the last video, but I ran into a problem, and a calculator problem. So let's pick up where we left off. Number 7. I've already written this one out for you, showing you the conversion. Let me just go through that real quick. Start off with 92 micrograms, divide by the conversion factor here, which is 1 times 10 to the 6 micrograms in 1 gram. The reason why I know to put this number on the bottom is because this number always goes with micro. Okay? This number always goes with micro. So if micro is here in the numerator, then it's going to be, the unit is going to be here in the denominator of the next fraction, and the conversion factor must go with it. So don't ever separate these two. Also, only use 1 for your base unit, whether it's grams, liters, or seconds. Always use 1. So 1 gram, 1 liter, and so forth. When I do this 92 divided by 1 times 10 to the 6th, I get 9.2 times 10 to the negative 5th. Let me show you a pitfall here. Okay, if you have this calculator, the TI-30XS, you do not want to use this button here. That button. Okay, here's why. I've got 92 divided by 1 times 10 to the 6. You may be tempted to do this, and it's going to give you the wrong answer. Okay, because essentially what you're telling the calculator to do is take 92, divide by 1, which is 92, and multiply that times 1,000,000, 10 to the 6th. It's not going to give you the right answer. Okay, instead what you need to do is 92 divided by parentheses 1 times 10 to the 6th. And when you do that, you end up with 9.2 times 10 to the negative 5th. Okay? So if you have this calculator, you've got to use parentheses. It's kind of a pain. If you don't have that calculator and you have one of these, which oddly enough looks less fancy, it's actually much easier. 92 divided by 1, and you have the special EE button here. Love this button. To the 6th. Boom, gives you the right answer. Okay, so if you want ease, buy one of these calculators or get a graphing calculator, which also has the EE button. I can show you that right here. See that button right there? That's the same button, EE. Okay, all right, back to 7b. 0.33 kilograms to milligrams. In this case, we're actually going to have to go through 2 units. We don't have a direct conversion from kilograms to milligrams, so we need to go kilograms to grams to milligrams. So I'll just write that out here. Okay. We're going to start off with 0.33 kilograms. And then I'm going to multiply by, down here kilograms, up here grams. I'm going to continue out my units, grams and milligrams. Remember, they're always opposite. Kilograms is here in the numerator, it's here in the denominator of the next fraction. Grams is here, so grams must also be here. So before you even put any numbers in there, just go ahead and fill out your units. Make sure that you've canceled everything out and that what's left is what you're interested in. Okay. Now here's the only case where I'm going to ask you to put a number other than 1 in front of the G or the L, is when we have kilo. There are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Okay, That's the only case where you're going to be putting more than one here. One here, rather. Moving on to the next one, there's 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. Okay, so you see how I put 1 here for gram and put the 1,000 with the milli, which is most of the time what you're going to be doing, because there's only one unit that's greater than grams that we're going to be talking about anyway, and that's the kilogram. Okay. When I do this, I end up with 0.33 kilograms is equal to how many milligrams? Well, that's easy. I'm going to do 0.33. And the first thing I need to do is multiply by 1,000, and then multiply by 1,000 again. Okay? Multiply by what's on top, divide by what's on bottom. Since there's only 1 on the bottom, I'm going to multiply and end up with 330,000. Or 3.3 times 10 to the 5th milligrams. Remember to put your units. Okay, 29 micrograms to kilograms. Again, we're going to have to do 2 conversions here. We're going to need to go micrograms to grams, and then grams to kilograms. Okay, filled this in, cancel out my micrograms, cancel out my grams. I'm left with kilograms here on the top, which is what I'm interested in. Now I go in and fill in my conversion units. There's 1 times 10 to the 6 micrograms in 1 gram, and there are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So if I put this in my calculator, it's very easy. I'm just going to do 29. Let me just put it down here. Divided by 1e6. Okay, divide by what's on bottom. And I'm going to divide again by 1,000. And I end up with this really long number. Okay. And I can convert this to scientific notation by doing that. Second, and then this button here, the 5, SCI. And that will give me 2.9 times 10 to the negative 8. Units are kilograms. All right, 50 milligrams to kilograms. Again, going through grams here. And I've got 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram and 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. Canceled out everything that I don't need, and I'm left with what I'm interested in. So I take 50, divide by 1,000, and divide by 1,000 again. I'm going to end up with 5.5 times 10 to the negative 5th. That's kilograms. Okay. Not going to punch that one in the calculator because I've already shown you how to do it here. 25 milliliters going to liters. Just one conversion. We can go directly from milliliters to liters. Just like that. Cancel out milliliters. We're left with liters. There's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So this is 2.5 times 10 to the negative 2 liters. Okay. And next is 2.5 liters to microliters. Can go directly from liters to microliters. 1 times 10 to the 6 microliters in 1 liter. And when I do 2.5 times 1 times 10 to the 6th, I'm going to end up with 2.5 times 10 to the 6th microliters. Okay. Alrighty. Moving right along to number 8, question about density, and this is conversions involving density. Up here we have conversions that you need to memorize. Okay. Things like kilograms to grams and so forth. Down here we're doing the same idea. We're converting from one unit to another one, but it just so happens that the units aren't the same type of measurement. Like, we're not going from grams to grams, we're going from grams to milliliters. So density allows us to convert between mass and volume. We can start with a mass and convert to a volume. We can start with a volume and convert to a mass. Whereas up here, we were only converting masses to masses and volumes to volumes. So let's start with question A. How many milliliters of gasoline are present in 500 grams at 10 degrees Celsius? The reason why I included this, you don't need this in the problem, but since I had 10 degrees Celsius here, density is dependent on temperature, so it changes as the temperature changes. I just went ahead and included 10 degrees on each one of these problems. All right, so 500 grams is where we're going to start. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go grams on the bottom. Okay, I know I need that on the bottom because I know I need to cancel it out. And I'm interested in milliliters. So how can I get from grams to milliliters? Well, I use the density. Okay. I'm going to always put the 0.745 with the G. Okay. Densities are given like this, where it's blah blah number G per milliliter, or blah blah number G per liter. So there's an implied 1 with that milliliter, so I can go ahead and put that 1 there. There's 0.745 grams in 1 milliliter. That's how you interpret this notation. But I've canceled out my G, I'm left with milliliters. That's what I'm interested in. So we just go ahead and plug it in the calculator here. We have 500 grams, and we're going to divide that by 0.745, and we are left with 6.71 times 10 to the second. I've got this in scientific notation. I don't need to have it there for this problem. I can just put it in FLO. That's how you change it back, by the way. FLO means float, and it looks more like a decimal at that point. So essentially 671.1 milliliters. Okay. Second, part B, what is the mass in grams of 750 milliliters of gasoline? In this case, I want to go from milliliters to grams. So I start with my 750 milliliters, put that on the bottom because I know I need to cancel it out. And then I go, my G is on top now. Remember, 0.745 always goes with the G. So I'm going to put that with my G here. Put the 1 with the milliliter. So in this case, I'm multiplying by that 0.745 instead of dividing. 750 times 0.745. It's going to give me 558.75 G. Okay. Finally, the last one. Okay, this one takes a little bit more thought because we need to do an additional conversion. Actually, several additional conversions. Your gas tank is 13.2 gallons. How many kilograms of gasoline are contained in a full tank? Alright, so we need to go from gallons to kilograms. How in the world are we going to get there? This is a volume, this is a mass. Well, before we can go from gallons to kilograms, we need to go from gallons to liters to milliliters to grams to kilograms, okay? So that's essentially how we can do it. We cannot go directly from gallons to kilograms. We must go to liters to milliliters, grams, then to kilograms. Gallons to liters, you may not know that conversion. It's 3.78 liters in 1 gallon. The rest of them you should know. So let's do 13.2 gallons and just write out a really long problem here. Going gallons to liters. What's next? I need to go liters to milliliters. The reason why I have to do this is because the units of my density are in grams per milliliter. So I've got to get my volume in milliliters. Okay, going to cancel out gallon, gallon, liter, liter. What's next? Going to grams. So milliliters and G, finally G and kg. Okay. All right. So I just told you that's 3.78 liters in 1 gallon. So then my conversion factor would look like this. Here, this is a known one we've talked about, 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. Here's that G over ml thing again, just like these. Going to put in the same number. Remember the 0.745 always goes with the G. Put a 1 there with the milliliter. Cancel that out. Next I'm going to cancel out grams by putting 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. The only unit that's left standing is kg, which is what I'm interested in knowing. Alright, so here we go. 13.2 times 3.78 just do this here so it doesn't glare, times 1,000 times 0.745 divided by 1,000. Notice how I didn't use equals there at all. Don't need to. You can go from times to divide, divide to times, as much as you want in one line. If you start subtracting and adding, that's where you need parentheses. 37.17 kilograms. Whoops. Alrighty, so that concludes this video. Very long video, but I hope it was helpful. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.